Are you nervous? Are you a nervous, anxious audiophile because you worry about the position of your volume control? You worry that you have to turn it up to 2 o'clock to play your system really loud. Does that keep you up at night? The position of the volume control is meaningless as long as you can turn it up loud enough to play as loud as you want and the amplifier is not clipping. You're good. You're done. No worries. Don't worry about where the volume control position is. Let's put it this way. You know, if you did, let's say you had a system where you just cracked open the volume control. So it's at like 8 o'clock or something. You just cracked it open and it's already crazy loud. Well, other than I guess impress your friends or something, that wouldn't be a good scenario because that means you wouldn't have a lot of room to fine-tune how loud you want to listen, because as soon as you cracked it open, it would already be loud, right? So I prefer it where it's at least at noon or 1 o'clock or even 2 o'clock, because now I have all this latitude of where the volume control setting is to get exactly the loudness I want. Now, of course, I'm using a knob in this example, but you could have, you know, an indicator on a knob, but maybe you have, or more likely you have, a preamplifier, an integrated amp that has a numerical readout, and let's say it goes from 0 to 100. Although it goes to 100, you'd be happier if you could just turn it up to 40 and it was already really, really loud. That would be an indication of power or quality. And I'm here to say, no, that would not be an indication of power or quality. These are unrelated subjects. So where the position of the volume control is physically in terms of the indicator on the knob or the numerical readout, it doesn't mean anything in terms of sound quality. Now, of course, if you made a significant change in your system's, let's say, overall gain, and you went from a very low sensitivity speaker like a KEF LS50, now that sensitivity rating is about 85 dB, and you switched over to a clipped Cornwall 4, and that has a sensitivity of 102. That's a lot more sensitive. So where before you'd have to turn it up to 2 o'clock, the position of the knob to 2 o'clock to play loud, when you switched over to the higher sensitivity speaker, like the Cornwall 4, you'd only have to turn it up to, let's say, 10 or 10:30 to be equally loud, because you have a higher sensitivity speaker. Now, it's not just changing speakers, it would change, let's say, the gain structure of the system, right? Now, most DACs, most digital converters, have a maximum output of 2 volts or 2.2 volts or something like that, right? But some DACs, or phonopreamps for that matter, have a maximum output of 6 volts or 7 volts or higher even, right? If you went to the higher output DAC or phonopreamp, well then, for a given loudness level, you would have a lower numerical number on your preamp, or the knob setting would be lower. The power aspect of your system hasn't changed. It's still the same power amplifier you had. It's just that where the knob is to play a certain loudness level has only gotten lower because you now have a DAC or a phonopreamp that has a higher output level, right? So again, this would explain why the position of the knob changes or the numerical number changes, but it is not an indication of quality and or power. I mean, I could do the same example with power amplifiers, right? You have 2 100 watt per channel power amplifiers, and they are truly exactly the same in power output. But one amplifier has an input sensitivity of 1 volt, which is kind of normal. And then you switched over the second 100 watt per channel amplifier, has an input sensitivity of a half a volt or 7.75 volts, right? That means that it takes less voltage to play at a given output level. It's still going to be 100 watts a channel, it just takes a lower position of the volume control for a given output level. Now, all of these examples that I'm giving you in terms of phonopreamplifiers and power amplifiers, they change the position of the volume control without changing the quality or anything. But I have to bring up one example where the position of the volume control does become an issue. And that is if you have to turn the volume control to maximum to play loud, or even not quite as loud as you would like, then some action on your part has to be taken. You would then need to get a different preamplifier. This is most likely to happen if you were using a passive preamplifier where at maximum knob turning, it's not loud enough. You need a higher gain preamp. Now, passive preamps have no gain, zero gain, and so do preamps that have buffer preamps. They also have no gain whatsoever. So if you have no gain and it isn't playing loud enough with the volume control at its maximum position, then you're going to need to either get a new preamp that has gain, more gain, or change the sensitivity of your power amplifier to a higher sensitivity power amplifier, or speakers that are more sensitive, easier to drive. I think the simplest route in this scenario would be to get a preamp that has gain. So if you went from zero gain from a passive preamp or a buffer preamp to one that had 10 dB of gain, you would probably have plenty of gain at that point, and you would be done. You'd be playing as loud as you want, and the world would be at peace. So that's good, right? So for the most part, most people in most situations, the position of the volume control is not an indication of sound quality. Playing loud at 10 o'clock doesn't mean that system or anything is better than one that has to be at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock to play loud. So I think we're good. I think I have eased the burden of you guys who are staying up late at night worrying about the position of your volume control, or your life would be better if you change things around so your volume control could be at a lower position and play loud. Not a cause. Don't worry about that. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and this continues to be the Audiophiliac Daily Show. If you like it, thank you. I'm glad you do. And if you like it a lot, you should subscribe to this YouTube channel. Better yet, you should check out the Patreon at patreon.com/audiophiliac. And yes, there is a link to that in the description box. But if you've done either, subscribed or checked out the Patreon, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for doing that. I've heard that the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, likes it when you guys like my video. When you give them thumbs up, the algorithm is happy. It cheers up the algorithm. We do want happy algorithms, don't we? So if you like what I do on any given video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't think I deserve a thumbs up, that's okay. My feelings won't be hurt. But while you're here, you are here now. Be here now, actually. Hang out. Check out the playlist, and you'll find so much more to see. There's playlists for speaker reviews and headphone reviews and electronics reviews and also music reviews. Lots and lots there. But there's also playlists for interviews with everyday audiophiles just like you, and also the superstars of the audiophile universe, like John Grado and Nelson Pass and Andrew Jones. They're all here. They're all right here on this channel. So check them out. I can now say that my work is at last complete. So thank you so much for watching. And I really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.